Hi everyone, it's Tracy DeVette here again, and in this video I'd like to talk about how old you need to be to allow changes in your life, releasing you from all sorts of stuff that's been in your life, probably since childhood, holding you back. Maybe it's a bad relationship that you had along the way that's still affecting you today, or it could just be very, very difficult circumstances that are still with you. And you've been carrying them around so much that you don't even think that that you can make a difference, that these things can be sorted or be changed. And you're living a life that's not, it's not your best life. You're not getting there. You're not doing what you should be doing. And I'm here to tell you that it really doesn't matter what age you are. I have clients in the sort of 70s, some even in their 80s, who don't want to live with what they've been putting up with all their lives, but just never really realized that there was an alternative. They just never realized that there was an alternative, that there's actually something that can be done, that you can leave behind that trauma, you can leave behind all that negativity, and you can, best of all, get rid of that horrible negative voice that's inside your head, telling you that you're not good enough, you're not confident enough, coming up with critical stuff whenever you're thinking something that's holding you back and making you not live the life that you could be. Now, I can tell you for sure, I'm in my 50s, and I wish I had found this out decades. It feels like I've wasted decades of my own life just not having that confidence to go forward and do things, and always second guessing myself and thinking, am I doing it properly? Am I doing this as it should be done? Because you see, I grew up with perfectionist parents where being wrong and making mistakes was never a good thing. It was stupid. You were an idiot. Um, there was no softness for getting things wrong. It was just, well, how can you get things right? And I realized that because nobody could get things right all of the time, that I had fallen into this mental straitjacket, that if you couldn't do something perfect and you couldn't do it properly, the negativity you would get even from yourself, because that voice goes from being an external voice, somebody else telling you what to do, it becomes internalized and it becomes what we start telling ourselves to do. That negative internal voice would stop me doing all sorts of things in my life. And once I was freed of all that, in my early 50s, when I discovered hypnotherapy and the power of it, I can tell you that it's absolutely life-changing. So it doesn't matter what age you are. You could be in your teenage years, and that's fantastic, because the earlier you get this sorted, the better the rest of your life is going to be. You could be in your 20s and still struggling to find out who you are in the world and who you're going to become. And I have to say that in part of my 20s, I was really happy and chuffed with the person that I had become. But it's only with hindsight that I realized that I could have been so much better. And that's my message to you today, is please don't leave it. Don't. Life is here to be lived. Don't go through decades like I did of being second best to what I could have been. And now I've discovered it in my 50s. Yes, it's opened doors and it's been amazing. And the journey has been incredible and still will be. But my greatest regret is that 20s, 30s, 40s were nowhere near optimum. And I let life push me around and boss me around, instead of me taking life by the balls and doing what had to be done. not necessarily to make me happy, because happiness is a moving target and it is a state of mind. You can be happy in just about any situation if you change the way you view it. That's not really it. It's not the pursuit of happiness. It was just the pursuit, in my case, of meaning, of doing something that was important to me, doing something that made a difference in other people's lives, and also gave me a lot of satisfaction and a reason to be, I guess. So whether you're a teenager and you're struggling, get some help now. You will never, ever regret it. You need to get over those turbulent childhood years. If you're in any way negative about yourself in the way you look, the way you feel, the way you act, your confidence, you need to get that sorted now and have a greater life. If you're in your 20s, you're also still questioning yourself. You're still letting other people's opinions dictate how you're thinking about yourself and how you behave. And you've still got that inner negative voice telling you whenever it thinks you're overstepping the line. And once you realize that there is no line to overstep, you've created that line, you've created that barrier, or your past, something in your past has created that line and that barrier. Now's the time to kick that out the way and expand your horizons. If you're in your 30s, these are supposed to be the more settled years, but actually I have a lot of clients in their 30s. They don't quite know where they are. They probably have kids, and by now their relationship that they've had with the love of their life is showing that it's not perfect. And of course, no relation ever is, but we kind of expect it to be. So they're starting to realize that, the fairy tale isn't always what you think it is, that getting married or settling down and having kids is not always the fantastic thing that you thought it was. And if you're still struggling with your own self-image and how you fit into things, it can make it even more difficult. And what if you haven't found a partner yet? And what if you haven't had children? There's all this negative self-talk that maybe you're not normal, maybe you're going to miss out, maybe it's never going to happen for you, and how terrible that would be. And let me tell you, from the perspective of being on the other side of that, because I'm in my 50s now, having been married twice and having children by two different people, I've got quite a wide perspective on that. And I can assure you that if that doesn't happen for you, enjoy life to the full anyway. You're not a failure. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not some sort of weirdo. You've just chosen a different path, and you need to have confidence in that path and go forward with strength and without any fear. If you're in your 40s, you're then in that, especially early 40s, in that questioning stage still. Like if you have had children or you haven't had children, would you like one more? Time is running out, especially if you're a woman. What do you do then? You can have a midlife confidence crisis, and it's all based on how you felt when you were little, how you were brought up, what you internalized, and what that negative self inner voice is telling you still. So in your 40s, get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Get some help and start living life for you. If you're in your 50s, you're in the same boat as me, and I can tell you from personal experience that there's no greater time than to reset that boundary, kick it to the curb, throw it away as far as you can see it, and just start living a life for you. I haven't got to my 60s yet, but I do have clients in my 60s, and the release and the relief that they get is just as tangible. Because even if you could still be working, you still have, if you're in 60, you might still have 7 or 8 years of work left ahead of you. Or you could be retired and wondering where you fit in the world. Now is a great time to reset that balance and just become the authentic you and make the changes that you always should have done, but you never had the guts to. How liberating would that feel? To people in the 70s, you have still got plenty of life left. And who wants to leave this earth having not fulfilled their potential? I mean, that's what we're here for, isn't it? Or else what's the point of being here? So if you haven't fulfilled your potential, you need to let go of all the guilt, shame, regret, self-blame that's holding you back. Anything from your childhood, anything from your young adulthood, anything that's still holding you back, and make the last years on this planet the best ever. If you're in your 80s, you definitely know a lot more than I do, but there are still people out there struggling with things from the past. Perhaps you had a really strict upbringing. Perhaps you had abuse in your past. Perhaps you had a partner who was extremely narcissistic and didn't treat you as you should. And maybe you don't have the best relationship with your children that you were hoping that you would have. So all of these things can be changed. I can assure you that it's not as difficult as you think. And within 6 to 8 sessions, your life could be completely changed. Now, I'm saying 6 to 8 sessions. Huge, big changes can happen in the first 2 or 3 sessions. That can happen. But I found with experience that if you have 6 or 7 sessions, that pretty much sets you up for life. Walking out with supreme confidence, knowing what you want, and being brave enough to make the changes. So get in touch if you want to know more. Fantastic programs are available, and I would really love to explain more about it. So if you've got any questions or like to know more, then definitely get in touch. That's what I'm here for. That's what my purpose is, to help other people. And now I've realized that and embraced it. Life has never been better. Click the links below if you want to get in touch. Like and subscribe, because I'm always on here with hints and tips on how to smash through and live a better life.